Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's Trek Watch. John Suntress here, and glad Wayne is here. Franco is coming. Mitch is on assignment. Welcome back. It's Trek Watch. John Suntress here, and glad Wayne is here. Franco is coming. Mitch is on. There we go. Sorry, kids. Echo. Indeed. I had the Twitter open. Dumbass. I'm excited to talk today, Wayne, and we'll get going as well with Franco in a minute. That said, I have to admit, I'm really impressed with the animation product, not only from Star Trek but from Star Wars. And I really, and of course, we know Dave Filoni has, the approval of Kathleen Kennedy, and again, they're doing such a great job. But man, Prodigy as well. But we can start with Tales of the Jedi. I don't know how much of it you've watched.
I definitely watched the first episode, so I'm sure the other ones are similar of quality.
I'm thrilled to get the Count Dooku story and early Mace. I mean, I've been asking for a Mace movie or series, since the prequels. It gives legitimacy to the prequels, which I think is sorely needed. And I'm thrilled with the product that we're getting. I think it's really good.
Like my understanding, it's basically the backstory of a lot of the characters. Yeah. So what it does is it just fleshes out what they didn't have a chance to talk about them in whatever the series they were in, whether it's live action or in the animation.
Yeah. And also for those who have problems with Andor, and I'm not one of them, the fact that this is all Jedi and Jedi magic and the knights and everything. So, I think that's great. But really, I love the guy who plays Mace, probably the Dooku, but I also love the guy who plays Mace as well. I know it's not Samuel L. He sure as hell sounds like him.
Yeah, I think it might be I don't have it open, but probably the same voice actors that they used in Clone Wars.
Sure. And that's another thing, even though it's the kind of 3D current animation that they've been doing with Rebels and the newer Clone Wars stuff and everything. I like that they're 16-minute long episodes. I like that, really, of course, with the credits, you're talking really probably around 12 or whatever, really. But it reminds me of when Genndy Tartakovsky did his first Clone Wars season. And also, I mean, we've talked about it before, Justice League Action. You can pack a lot of story in a small amount of time. And I really think that Tales of the Jedi is doing it.
Yeah, definitely. I remember the Justice League Action. They're amazing little stories. And yeah,
those were 9 minutes.
I know.
9 minutes. Because I talked to several writers and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, strip away the credits and the commercials. Yeah, what do you got to play with? And they're like, yeah, 9 minutes. I'm like, wow. So it's great. No, I am really enjoying Tales from the Jedi in a way that, and again, maybe I should revisit Rebels.
Rebels, it tells a really good story with Ezra. Following him, and I'm saying Qui-Gon, but it's not his master.
Qui-Gon's master.
Yeah, no, it was he was the last of the Jedis. He was an apprentice. He was still a Padawan when Order 66 happened, and he escaped. So when Ezra he's not he is a Jedi, but he's not a master. He hasn't gone through all the training yet.
Sure.
And then he was teaching Ezra all the different stuff. And then with Rebels, you got into the concept that you can meet up with these force sensitive beings that are both good and evil. That they find the true balance between the light and the dark, which is an interesting concept, because you always thought you either had to be one or the other. Then you meet this other creature that is not. It's just a balance of the two. Understood. Yeah, no, give Rebels a chance, especially when it gets into the Mandalorian stuff. There's a lot of Mandalorian storyline too that runs through Rebels.
Okay, good to know. I'm bringing up a Prodigy image because let's get into Prodigy. Yep. Another great episode, and as your credit describes, a very interesting wrinkle as Zero becomes a Borg.
That was one thing I didn't like. You always thought of the Borg as they would want to assimilate corporal beings.
Yeah.
But how do you assimilate a non-corporal being? And it sounds like they have done to the Medusans in the past.
Well, but also Medusans, even non-corporeal, but I suppose in the same way you can upload any sort of digital file, that there's the likelihood. I mean, that's
like Zero said, they are of a hive mind, so very similar to the Borg.
Yes.
But still, it's just, I don't know. It's just something you never really thought of, that because you think the Borg is all about assimilation and getting bigger and bigger, and you always think of assimilation as corporal, like a physical being versus something that's non-physical.
Agreed.
It was an amazing sort of a journey for Zero, going through. I'm probably the only one that would be able to survive this, but I'm concerned because of his understanding of the Borg or previous experiences with the Borg.
Isn't it, again, I want to go back to what I said at the beginning of the show. I really kind of love that the animation people are left to their own devices and seem to be able to get to do what they want. Because again, in the case of Star Wars and absolutely in Star Trek Prodigy, it is fighting Strange New Worlds for my favorite show, honestly, because of how Star Trek it is, its ties to Voyager, but also that era post Voyager, immediately after Voyager. The Chakotay mystery intrigues me. The Protostar itself intrigues me. The fact that Admiral Janeway is trying to figure out what's going on. And I mean, and I might have said this last week. I will admit that the Tellarite and Rock kind of annoy me because they're a little too kiddie. But I have to keep reminding myself it is a kid's show.
And those are the characters that kids would relate to.
Sure. But it's like they're really being dealt heavy shit to deal with. And I love that because even though it was definitely a Saturday/Sunday morning cartoon, the original animated series, because NBC ran them on both weekend days. I think the second season was a Sunday show instead of it being a Saturday show. But it was still pretty smart. And this, I think, is smarter and darker even than the original animated series was.
Probably. I'd have to rewatch the original series to be able to make a true comparison. But
sure.
What I do remember the original series, they were very smart stories. You weren't being talked down to.
No, and you had, just like the original series, great science fiction writers, Larry Niven and Samuel Peoples, who also wrote for the original series. Mm-hmm. Walter Koenig obviously did a really cool thing that I'm looking forward to, Wakanda Forever, because Kukulkan Khan, I guess, is part of Wakanda, and that Aztec god is very much prominent in one of the original animated series episodes. But yeah, I mean, I am really enjoying Prodigy. I finally got word from the Bensons. I think their episode is going to run in mid-December. So after that runs, I'll have them on to talk about it further. But here, Doubt says the original Star Trek animated series was being streamed on CWC a while back. Well, it's not Paramount Plus. So again, I don't know where you are, Doubt, but you can get it there. So here comes Francis. Boom. Hey,
are we on?
We are on. We are on.
I thought we were doing 8:30. I was confused.
No. And I'm sorry. 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern for yeah.
I'm very confused.
We're gonna do yeah with Artie and
yes. No, I know, but I thought this was starting at 8:30 my time, so I was confused.
It's all right.
Good.
But anyway,
I'm here.
I want to catch you up. Have you been watching Tales of the Jedi? And I know, believe me, I know you're very busy and can't watch everything. No. Well, I was just making the point, and you've caught up on Prodigy, that it impresses me, especially on Prodigy, because Dave Filoni's kind of a known commodity in Star Wars, and I believe the powers that be obviously trust him both with live action and animation. But Prodigy, these 2 episodes since they've been back, are just exceptional.
Fantastic.
And clearly they're doing Star Trek, and dare I say it, Franco, but I really think Prodigy is starting to rival Strange New Worlds as far as the best new show.
I don't like to agree with you, but I will. I will agree with you because it's great. This last episode was good. I was a little scared when they were doing spoilers, right? I was a little scared when the Borg cube showed up. But I'm like, what are they going to do here? This is going to be a mess. But it was great. I thoroughly am enjoying Prodigy. I'm thoroughly enjoying Strange New Worlds. Lower Decks is starting to maybe turn a corner.
Getting better.
The Orville is way back in the ether at this point. But yeah, I think they're doing some things right.
Yeah, I'm blown away. I honestly am. And also, as I was saying to Wayne, pretty heavy stories for a Y7 show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. And I was comparing it to the original animated series, and I'm like, these are smarter. And not that there were good elements of the original animated show, but yeah, I think this, they're not talking down to kids in this stuff.
Oh no.
No, one of the things that always annoys me to a sense because I'm known for doing kids books as it were, and like people paint that into a corner, and I always say that you can't talk down to kids because they're smarter than that. They know when you're phoning it in. They know when you're trying to talk down to them. They know when you're trying to be funny, and people ask me, well, what's the age range? And I always tell them every book I do is all ages. Literally all ages, because that's what this is. This Prodigy show is all ages, because you can watch it as a kid, you can watch it as an adult. Some of the things may be over your head, but that's kind of why I wanted to learn things. I learned things in comic books. I remember in school, one of my science teachers is like, we're talking about your balance being held in your inner ear, and how did you know that? I'm like, I read it in a comic book. The wasp, she went into someone's ear and messed them up, and they couldn't stand up. I read that stuff in comic books. I learned all that stuff in comic books.
Anna Gasteyer from SNL was on today's SNL podcast with Dana Carvey and David Spade. She's talking about how much she loved Bob Newhart, the original show, and she's like, a lot of the humor was over my head, but I appreciate the delivery, and I, like you just said, I learned from it. Mm-hmm. And it's true, man. It's like, no, it's so that's great. I don't know. I really felt like Prodigy's getting it. The Chakotay mystery is terrific. Mm-hmm. I love that the big bad is now going to deceive Starfleet.
In Starfleet, yeah. I am very upset about one thing in particular, and it's my hair right now, because it's standing up off the side of my head. But well, that's the only thing I'm going to complain about.
It's kind of a Kramer thing. Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, I Here's the other thing, and I was saying this to Wayne. I want to bring you completely up to date, Francis. Rock kind of bugs me, the kid. The Tellarite kind of bugs me. Although I suppose you can explain the broken English that the Tellarite speaks in, because that's what bugs me about him. That maybe he's just learning English, even with the universal translator or whatever. So he's not as polished as previous Tellarites were, whether they were ambassadors or, space traders of some sort that they were dealing with.
But I don't think we've had that many episodes with Tellarite, so we're not really sure what their vocal patterns are or their speech processes.
Sure we have. Voyager, original series, really? Next Generation, absolutely. Enterprise. Not Voyager. Enterprise. Yeah.
See, the only one I remember is Journey to Babel.
That's the classic one, but yeah, no. Enterprise, absolutely. Both traders and ambassadors. So yeah.
No, I just again have to watch them to see what the speech patterns are. It could just be that
they're normal. They're just angry. They're always just angry. And I thought in Next Generation, people correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought in the second season when they have combat games and Riker goes to the one kind of ship and Picard stays on there and there's an observer, I thought he was a Tellarite and seemed to be kind of superior. And maybe I'm wrong. They weren't as well. First of all, the original design from the original series and Enterprise, they were more piggish. And it's interesting that Django, is that his name? I forget what his
Jenkin Pod.
Thank you, Jenkin. That his is kind of, obviously not the same Tellarite design. But yeah, I don't know.
It could have been all those years working the mine too, that his mind just sort of.
Well, that's why I do think, given that they were made slave labor as kids, that he just didn't have the chance to really learn how to talk or whatever. And I won't deny, like Rock again. I don't need someone that sounds like a 6-year-old. I like it when she does stuff, and I love that she's so strong and literally can swat away problems and stuff with her brute strength.
But I think that's what works about the show on the kid level as well.
Yes. You know? No, you're right. You're right, man.
And that little sloopy, slimy thing that's indestructible.
Murph, yeah.
Murph. You guys are much better with names. I can't never remember.
Yeah, Doubt says, and he's right. Jake and Rock are the comic relief, and the kids that are kids in the show. And Wesley says, earning that no prize. Love it. Absolutely. So, yeah, but again, I'm intrigued. I look forward to what's coming next. And I really look forward to talking to the Bensons. I've been very lucky as we transition to Quantum Leap. Ben Rabb, who's one of the main co-executive producers, is going to come on Word Balloon after November 15th. And Julie and Shauna regarding Prodigy are going to come on in December, Franco. So I'm looking forward to talking to them more about what's behind the scenes. But yeah, Quantum Leap, I'll admit I haven't watched this week's yet, but that's good because they'll give us an excuse to talk
about it. I just watched it thanks to Wayne.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Nice. Because I saw the Exorcism one last week. And, again, I don't mind talking in general terms. I mean, it seems like the way the Exorcism episode ended, we saw Al's daughter show up in Ben's observer thing, and she was the reason why they weren't able to connect with Ben during the whole Exorcism story and everything. So I imagine that's played out a bit more this week.
Yeah, because she had her own imaging chamber.
Is my timeline all screwed up? Because was that last week or was that 2 weeks ago and they skipped a week?
They didn't skip a week.
No.
Last week was the Exorcism Halloween episode.
Oh, okay.
And after everything was wrapped up, we saw Al's daughter tell Sam, "Hey, I've been trying to reach you, blah blah blah."
And then Sam leapt into the kids running towards a car.
Right. And then I saw that episode thanks to Wayne because I'm like, wait, there's a new episode, but I didn't. I thought there was like a week in between where there wasn't one, so that's why I didn't think there was another episode until maybe like December, January, or whatever. I got all confused.
no problem. So did you not see the Exorcism one?
I did.
Okay, good.
I did.
Yeah, then no, I believe you've seen everything.
Yep.
And it's certainly from an information standpoint, you're caught up. It's funny. Steve Shives is a great YouTuber and always has opinions on Star Wars and Star Trek. And he's been watching Quantum Leap. And I'm curious what you guys think of this. He's like, I kind of wish it was more focused on each leap rather than going back to Quantum Leap Command and giving us as much story. He feels there are too many characters in Quantum Leap Command to follow. And he feels like the security officer and even, and also Ernie Hudson haven't been given that much to do. I couldn't disagree more. I love that that's the new wrinkle because I think the leaps get old. And it's like, again, I think they're doing the right amount of this is the problem of the week.
Yeah.
But they've intrigued us with the big story, I think, much more.
And I'll be honest, this week's leap story, I couldn't care less about it.
And how many times in the old days would you be like, all right, whatever, that's fine. It's going to be back next week. There'll be a better
what they did with the B story, what's happening in the Quantum Leap headquarters and just dealing with Al's daughters. I'm more interested in that than what the leap was.
No, is Frank cheesily frozen? You're back. Did you? What'd you think?
Hi, I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
I didn't. I didn't. Yeah, the leap this week was just okay, but I think it helped to further the base story. Absolutely. And I like. Yeah. No, I like all the characters. The Quantum Leap stuff I think was good for its day, in that it was definitely a week by week show, unless you caught it on USA or something like that in reruns, where it was one right after the other. Yeah. But now in a binge world, when someone's not watching it week to week and then they're watching it later, there's got to be something to keep them strung through the storyline. I would imagine.
Yeah.
So you need a subplot to keep your interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, like you guys said, it makes it different, and I agree, Franco, that maybe it was more necessary, and also Bakula #1 on the call sheet. So what's his problem each week? That's fine, but it's again, Shives was saying, well, what's more interesting, watching somebody unexplainably going through his time travel adventures, or the usual ensemble procedural problem of there's a conspiracy and we don't know who's behind it, but something weird's going on. And I'm like, sorry, for me, it's the latter. If you set it up right. I mean, and again, going back to the original show, all right, who can name Quantum Leap Central characters besides Al that are back in the mountain and stuff from the old show? Toss up.
Right.
I love it. You guys are thinking. Gushy is one of them, absolutely.
Yeah. That's about it. I'm done.
None. Yes. I can't think of any.
And Tina, Al's girlfriend, who he was sleeping with and was also part of Quantum Leap. And of course, today would be completely inappropriate. But
they would have to get HR involved.
And it's so funny because Wayne was like, I don't know if there've been that many Telluride episodes in Star Trek, about as many times over 5 seasons of Quantum Leap that we saw who else was working. Also, by the way, Sam's wife, who he forgets about, Donna, we only see her in the one episode as far as present day Quantum Leap time. We see her in, I believe Terry Hatcher played her in a flashback episode that was pretty early on. All right, so Dowd is chiming in. He says, Gushy, of course, Tina. I don't remember. Oh, Rowena Beeks. I don't remember Rowena Beeks. So feel free to give us a description, Dowd.
She the other leaper?
No. It was like we never got to the bottom of who the female evil leaper was, other than she had, the evil observer. And I really hope that just as they've been tying into the original series, that maybe there is a tie between Leaper X, as they call the new evil leaper, and the old evil leaper story, and we get more information on that. I hope so. Mm-hmm. But I'm intrigued, man. Again, they upped the episode order from 12 episodes to 18. And so we are going to get a nice back end when the show comes back in January. I'll ask Ben if there's going to be any sort of kind of like CW where, all right, we get the winter hiatus and then we get the early spring hiatus and then they, charge into May with new stuff till the end. I don't know how it's going to work, but I am reasonably confident that this show is gathering an audience despite its network Nielsen numbers. But that's me.
No. Nothing. Oh no, this is just again. I think it's because I'm still thinking of this week's episode and it was just lame. Well, first, I love the Exorcist episode; was hilarious.
It was great, and had a great real world solution to what was going on.
Yeah.
So no, I really enjoyed it too. And I'll be honest, man, I'm a wuss. I don't like horror, and I can usually handle TV versions of exorcisms and stuff. But there was part of me like, am I going to like this? I don't know. Do I want to watch this? Again, wuss. Massive wuss. But that said, I am glad I watched it. And I just like this show, man. Mm-hmm. Is it Raymond Lee? I forget Ben Song's the real actor's name. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, that's interesting. Down says Dr. Beeks was the psychiatrist that spoke to people in the waiting room to help Sam figure out what to do. I don't remember a single episode with that woman. I do remember Al talking to people in the waiting room. And by the way, that is something else that, unless it's a spoiler, I really want to know from Ben Rabb when I talk to him, why aren't we, why is that dynamic not in the reboot? It just seemed like another way to get information and, potential story. I mean, I remember when Sam leapt into Al, a younger version of Al when he was still in the Navy and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the Lee Harvey Oswald episode was really interesting that way. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Raymond Lee is Dr. Benjamin Song.
Yeah. Great actor, man. I like him. I sympathize with him. I think, and I forget Allison. Is it Allison?
Addison.
Thank you. I wasn't sure. But yeah, I like it. I like his fiance. I think she's cool. Again, I think Ernie Hudson is killing it as Magic.
I love Mason Alexander Park because I loved him I love them. I think it's them.
It is
in
them.
The Sandman.
Yes.
Sure.
Played Desire.
Yes.
Was perfect as Desire. Yes.
No, they're great. I mean, that's the other great thing is that it is a diverse cast and everybody's really good in it, including the security woman.
Yeah.
And again,
and it doesn't feel like it's being forced on you.
Agreed.
Like Absolutely. It's natural. It's like these are all people they're working together. It doesn't matter what their race is, doesn't matter what their sexual orientation is, what their identification is. They're people working together for a common goal towards the Quantum Leap project.
And more, yes. And they are still trying to figure out what happened to Sam as much as what has been doing. And it keeps convincing me more and more that Bakula was just throwing up a smokescreen. And that he will be on the show at some point this season. Hopefully, I mean, again, my fear is show up in the last episode and all right, Quantum Leap's canceled.
Well, he could be not lying and he might not show up in this season.
Maybe, but honestly, Franco, the fact that they're showing pictures all the time of him and that Al is such an important, and that Al's daughter. It's an important wrinkle.
I agree with you. I just, there's always that possibility.
Possible. Sure. Yeah. Sure. If they are doing that, then that's even dumber. Honestly, I understand they want to keep a mystery about the show, but they should have said, this is Sam's story as much as it is Ben's story and just left it at that and not comment and have Bakula not comment either. Mm-hmm. I mean, he didn't, I'm sure he was being inundated on his social media to respond. Guys, what are we going to do if Twitter goes away or we all are so disgusted by Twitter? Because
it'll be replaced by something else.
I suppose it's, and I guess
social, whatever it is.
Yeah, we're all going to go to Truth Social instead. That's awesome.
That's not a thing that's going to happen, but
yeah. And Doubt. Yes, Monday's episode is the mid-season finale. Of course, there's going to be a break in the winter. Yes. So yeah,
So wait, this episode that I just watched today, is the mid-season finale.
Yeah.
Okay. See, because I thought that's why I got all confused.
But for a mid-season finale, it did give you something for a mid-season finale.
Good.
Yes, that's true.
So
Good.
that way, you know how like Lower Decks, when William came back from the dead, that you would have thought that would have been the season finale because that's a good cliffhanger. Oh my God, he's back.
Agreed. I know. I'm still stunned that there was no end of season finale to Lower Decks or a question. I mean, there are with the, like I said, the teaming up of the artificial intelligences with Peanut Hamper, and certainly William's story. But yeah, I'm just surprised. Lewis Berry says this week's Andor is the best episode yet. Yeah, man, it's finding its footing.
Yep.
I haven't watched it yet. Damn.
It's all right. We'll talk about it.
So little time.
Got plenty of time to talk about it next week, man. I'm not worried.
There's plenty of Andor left.
That too, and again, I haven't finished Jedi Tales of the Jedi yet.
I haven't even started Tales of the Jedi. Oh my God!
So we'll have, and again, we'll have Mitch as well. So we'll have more to talk about next week.
Yeah, where's Mitch?
He's on an away mission. He what he's doing. He told us.
Yes, I do, but I forgot that he wasn't here.
Great. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. I have not watched Avenue 5 yet. Guys, have you watched Avenue 5 on HBO Max?
I watched the first season. The first season was hilarious. I haven't watched the second season yet.
I'll get to it. Rick and Morty, by the way, and I don't know, Rick and Morty's kind of on a break until like a week or two.
Yeah,
I caught up on Rick and Morty. Another great season, man.
Yeah,
I haven't watched that either.
Without Rick and Morty.
Why do they keep putting this stuff out and me not having any time? I don't like that.
This afternoon, I was because I was working on stuff. I in the background, so as not to disturb my work, I had the Venture Brothers on, which is all on HBO Max.
I love the Venture
Brothers. And I was watching the first season again. Holy Christ, what a great show!
Oh.
Jesus Christ!
Molotov cocktail.
Yep. Yes, that's good. That's one of the episodes, and also the whole Disney thing in that episode. And Walt's like had a stroke or whatever, and he's 100 years old.
The fact that Johnny is a drug addict.
Oh, Johnny Quest, absolutely.
Johnny Quest, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he has a lot of issues.
And when Race Bannon dies in Brock's arms and everything, and then after he dies, his apparently when you die, sometimes you might shit your pants or whatever. And Brock, they don't tell you about that. No, great stuff, man. And I also, so they get to whatever Disneyland, whatever it was called, and Dean is like, "Hey, man, check out the elephant's fifth leg," and Hank's like, "That's his tusk. He's or his trunk," and he goes, "Yeah, that's not where I'm looking, man." And hey, Dad, black guy, and it's Disney's Major Domo that can snap everyone's neck, including Brock's likely and stuff. Black guy.
Did you watch Venture Brothers all the way to the end?
No, and that's another reason why I'm kind of slowly.
Yeah, I actually missed. Yeah, I missed the last few episodes.
It gets really twisted in those last couple of seasons. Really twisted.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
What's the Doctor Girlfriend? Is that the?
Oh yeah,
the name of the
Jackie Kennedy lookalike that sounds like Tony Curtis.
Yeah.
Look, honey, I swear to God.
I love you, sweetie. Yeah.
I love you, Slave Boy. Absolutely. Genius show, man. Jackson Public and Ben Blacker did a panel together in San Diego one year that I was at. And they had the guy who played on Supernatural that was the angel, Cass.
Oh, Cass, Misha Collins.
Yes. And the three of them were very, very funny together. So yeah, that's my only encounter with Jackson Public. And
it's.
Have they done anything else at all?
Wait till you get to the later seasons. It just blows your mind some of the stuff that they tell you.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Have they done anything else? Those guys?
I don't think so.
No.
They haven't done anything since I think it was season 6 or season 7. But the thing is, they're so long in between seasons.
Yeah. Well, they're not coming back for another one, are they? I thought they were done.
No,
Yeah, they're done. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I think Cartoon Network. I think it's Cartoon Network down there. Whichever network they were on just didn't.
Yeah, they weren't Cartoon
pick them
Network.
up. Yeah, they didn't pick them up. There's been a lot of like, can you bring them back?
Sure. I also Rob Burnett read the transcription of a quarterly Discovery Warner Brothers stockholders thing where the guy that's in charge, who I didn't realize was the Discovery CEO, and now he's in charge of both. But he was really reading from the transcript of what he was telling the stockholders. And it was very interesting in terms of where they're putting their resources. They recognize that obviously, and I think the lesson that's been learned in the last year or so, I mean, obviously there was so much product that they needed to get through the pipeline that they were willing to put things simultaneously in theaters and on streaming. But he's like, we're not going to make our money back if we do it that way moving forward. And they've got to make content that people are compelled to see in the theater. And he pointed to the financial success of Black Adam as an example of that. But he also telegraphed that obviously more Matt Reeves Batman is coming up, more Joker is coming up, obviously. And he didn't go into full details on what's happening on the TV side of HBO Max. But I am at least pleased with what's coming. Another guy that I hope to talk to soon is Brian Edward Hill, who is one of the Titans writers and has been from season 1. And I know, so Wayne, is it Titans not available to you yet?
Titans is not available. Titans is available on Netflix in Canada. My understanding is the distribution is internationally through Netflix. So we have seasons 1 through 3.
Okay.
So I'll get it probably either maybe a month later than you guys or next year.
Okay.
For season 4.
And I know, Franco, you haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
My understanding is Brother Blood's in it this season.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm still on the Deathstroke season.
No problem, man. Well, also in the trailer, Luther.
Yeah, I saw at least I could see the trailer.
Sure. And Titus Welliver is playing Luther, and I think that's fantastic casting. I'm a massive fan of that guy and have been since Lost, and loved his Amazon series as well, the Cop series.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Bosch? No.
Yes, Bosch. Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't think of it right now. My buddy Julianne Emery guest starred an entire season on Bosch. That's right. He's great. He's
Luther? Oh, that's awesome.
He's Lex Luthor, yeah.
Wow.
And they're getting into, this is, I hope, generic enough, Francis, that they're getting into the whole Connor-Luthor relationship.
Right, yeah.
And again, we know it from the comics and everything. But I
wrote about it in Young Justice.
I'm really, really enjoying it. Although I wish they didn't lean so heavily on horror and the supernatural, because now this is the 4th season that they essentially are doing that. And it's like, all right.
They're just,
It's Raven, obviously. Beast Boy, I suppose, is a monster.
It's almost like the DC universe wants to lean towards the dark.
Always. And it's fucking annoying.
Like, you look at the latest animation, all the stories they're really dark. Like, I understand Batman can be dark because it's the elements. Gotham is grimy and all that.
Certainly.
You got to have some light.
Yeah. Well, I would argue that obviously Harley Quinn and manages to do that in the Gotham universe.
Yeah.
So there is light there. But no, yeah, man. I mean, I always go back to the ironic quote from Heath Ledger in Dark Knight. Why so serious? And it's true, man. And especially, I would just like to see, and again, forgive me, I feel like I'm Gigantic Jeff, Gigantic Jeff, massive Nightwing fan, massive Titans fan, and would be happy to spend an hour on, what's wrong with that show? And it's like, by all means, man, tell me. But I mean, I wish they would give us a little more supervillain stuff. And that's why I was excited that Lex is going to be such an important part of this season.
If you want to stay more with the dark elements and the supernatural, leave it to the Doom Patrol, because they've just embraced Morrison's run, and it's perfect.
Yes, absolutely. Swamp Thing. I mean, that's the thing. When the characters make sense, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like these are out of the Titans element. I just feel like, all right, it's the 4th season, and we're still kind of playing in the same sandbox. And that's why even, hey, they're going to Metropolis. Okay. Very interesting. And I won't spoil, but what they've even shown us in these first 2 episodes, okay, well, there's a bit of a difference. But yeah, I mean, again, Brian's a good dude. He's always been very nice coming on Word Balloon and stuff. So I hope to talk to him. Very fortunate, guys, honestly. Like I said, Ban Rab is coming up, the Bensons to talk Star Trek, and just talked to Chris Cantwell, and got the catch up on what he's doing with Max Headroom and everything. So
it's too bad that Stargirl got canceled, because this season's great. Yeah. I just love what's happening. Okay, you want your happy, bright superheroes with a little bit of darkness? Stargirl.
Well, and that's the thing, man. It's that, oh, what a beautiful little happy, peaceful area. Is it Blue Valley? Is it Wally's town that they're in? I always forget.
I think it is. Yeah, it's Blue Valley.
Yeah, that's where Wally West came from and everything. No, I mean, really from the get-go, hey, we're in small town, America and stuff. And meanwhile, there is this kind of undercurrent of, dark shit going on. And that was the perfect balance.
Because it was a perfect place for the ISA to set up headquarters.
Absolutely. And I really, again, the characterizations that we're getting in Stargirl. And I'm so glad Joe McHale is much more of a part of this season and everything. Because I can't help it. I love the JSA. I loved the 4 characters we got in Black Adam. I really think the JSA, there's a lot of potential there. So yeah. No. But yeah, it's a shame about Stargirl. It's a shame about Ray. As who sang that back in the day? Was it Jim Blossoms? It's a shame about Ray. I think it's the Jim Blossoms. Anyway. I love
Blind Lemon?
What's that?
Blind Lemon?
No, it's not Blind Lemon.
No.
Well, they had a song about rain.
They did.
Blind Melon.
My life
Blind
is
Melon.
plain. Yeah. So there you go. Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that Dallas is where they're shooting. I'm assuming Blue Valley for Stargirl. I had no idea.
Holy cow! It's not up in Canada.
Yeah, really. No
What's
kidding.
Wrong with
Exactly.
This?
And also,
no wonder it got canceled.
Another intangible about the CW shows and the Warner Brothers HBO Max direct shows, the music supervisors. I talked to Jeff about this, about Stargirl. Man, so many good songs that absolutely fit. And by the way, Quantum Leap, I would say the same thing, that I love the music, the actual hit music that they're putting in the show. It's so much fun.
Speaking of music, I went to see Black Adam again with my friend Shannon, and she said she loved the movie. She thought it was fun. And this is a person who doesn't know anything about comics. So she loved it. She said the one thing she didn't like was the music choices, because it took her out of the movie.
That's fair. And I can name a lot of movies
I can see
where that happened.
Yeah.
Or it's like wallpaper. Remember The Replacements, the bad football movie? Gene Hackman and
Keanu Reeves.
It's not a bad movie. I love that movie.
I think it's a
I love Necessary Roughness too.
Yeah.
I like Necessary Roughness.
Unnecessary Roughness. Yeah.
I think it was Necessary Roughness.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a very, very funny comedy. I think
here's a fan theory, is that Scott Bakula leapt into that guy's body. So,
and he did it in Major League 3 as well. Sam leaping all over the place. No. Yes, exactly, man. And I'll even guilty pleasure. I don't mind Major League 3. It's nowhere near as good as the
you got to watch Slapshot.
Well,
ultimate hockey movie.
The Hanson Brothers. Come on.
Ultimate sports comedy. I can't I mean,
Bull Durham too.
Bull Durham is great.
Yeah, but that's like a romantic thing.
But Tin Cup is amazing. I love Tin Cup.
Yeah.
I love Tin Cup too. Ron Shelton, man, that guy, he did Bull Durham as well. And he did Play to the Bone, which is a great boxing sports movie. He did Cobb. I know Ron Shelton knows how to do sports movies.
Yeah,
so.
if you ask me about real sports, I don't know, but sports movies, I know a lot about.
That's awesome. By the way, Jay Gomez is right. It was the Lemonheads that did It's a Shame About Ray.
Yes.
So very good. Very, very good. Hilarious. And Dowd tells us that Joe McHale is a super guy. He dealt with him professionally a few times. He was nothing but awesome. He even thanked me for getting him out of a situation at a concert. There you go. I like it.
I like when they seem like nice guys, and then they are. I like that.
And then they actually are. Absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's great. You know, is it Greg Grunberg who was in Heroes and is like, Greg Grunberg.
Anything with J.J. Abrams.
I was going to say his good luck charm. And I can honestly say several encounters at conventions, super nice guy. And and I'm like, I kind of like that you're Jim Kirk's asshole stepfather. He goes, so do I. And then he was in charge of the space station in Star Trek Beyond.
Yep.
So, man, I wonder, and it likely won't happen until next year or whatever, but I really wonder what kind of movie news we're going to get for the next Star Trek movie, if any, and when, and everything else, because just everyone's life. This is, again, when you have too big of a cast and there's so much in demand to do other movies or other TV, in the case of Carl Urban and everything, that it's like, yeah, good luck. Good luck getting everybody back because everybody's busy. Everybody's busy.
You know, I'm so dense sometimes and so like focused in on things that I do that I don't realize things. Chris Pine is the son of Robert Pine, who was the chief on Chips.
That's right.
And I just learned that like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, what? This is not possible.
And now see their faces, and it's like, how did we miss it?
I can't unsee it. Yeah.
Like it's like, James Caan and Scott Caan. It's the same thing, man. No, I'm with you. And Robert Pine is in like a million Universal procedurals all over the 80s. All over the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love. And I love Universal for that reason. That and in fact, Shives, when he was talking about Quantum Leap right now, was bringing up, it's on Universal, so they got that great back lot that has all these standing. There's the Western set, there's the urban street set, and everything. And it's like, that's what's cool about Universal. They were just shitting on TV since the '60s nonstop, and still are. And that's a really interesting studio. And you could say the same thing about Warner's. Warner's is a very active studio. So I mean, MGM in name only, and with Sony now and United Artists, I have no idea what physical assets they still have as far as studios and things.
I don't think they do.
There you go.
I think that's only left is the Warner backlot and Universal.
Yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely.
Because you still have the Universal tour.
100%, man. God, I did that tour. The only time I ever did it. No, I take that back. We did it twice. I did it in 1970. How you doing, everybody? And I did it in the early 80s. So it's still been 40 years since I've done it.
I did it in 89. And we did the Star Trek Experience. We cannot find, and I transferred it from Betamax to a DVD.
From Betamax to a Laserdisc to a DVD?
Or actually not to a DVD, to a CD-ROM. And I cannot find it anywhere. And it is hilarious because it integrates Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, with your live action. And I was dressed up as a Klingon. It's friggin' hilarious.
So was this at the Hilton in Vegas?
No, this was at Universal Studios in Los Angeles.
Oh.
So they had the Star Trek Experience.
I didn't know
that. They said, does anyone want to be any characters? And me and my two buddies, we were all Klingons. We became Klingons. So we were on the Klingon ship, and they had the different sets that they would rotate to.
Wow.
And that they would film it, and then afterwards you'd buy the film. So I bought it. I had a Betamax, and I bought a Betamax. The tape was starting to go, so I said, I better transfer this. And I transferred it. I could not find the file on previous computers. I gave a disc to my friend, and he said, I can't find it. I'm going, that's the only evidence that we were there.
Did they, when they put it on video, did they include like the James Horner Klingon music?
Yes.
I love that.
They included that, the red alert, and they had Kirk. It was They literally integrated all scenes from the movie with what we were doing in live action.
Fantastic.
It was hilarious. It was great.
That's so great. That's excellent, man. Well, I know I've talked about before that the Hilton Star Trek experience I did several times in the 90s. Anytime I had the very good fortune of being sent to Vegas to cover boxing. And, the fights were always on Saturday. So before I flew back on Sunday evening or whatever, I would go to the Hilton and hang out all day and eat at Quarks and do the Star Trek experience.
I have a Quark shirt still somewhere.
Human. That's fantastic. Doubt says he rewatched Black Adam. He's loved the comic character since 52. To him, the film feels more like a Rampage or typical Dwayne Johnson film than a superhero flick. Disagree. I thought it was a fine superhero flick. Not 5-star excellent or 4-star excellent, but 3 stars. I'd give it 3 stars.
Well, I'll be able to compare it to because I'm seeing Wakanda Forever on Friday.
Yeah,
with my friend Shannon. So we're off to see it again. Not again, for the first time. So she's really looking forward. She loves the Marvel movies.
That's great, man. I'm gonna wait a week or so, just because I don't feel like dropping $30 on a movie, or $20 on a movie. I noticed that Confess Flesh, or whatever it was called, is now on Showtime. So I'm gonna watch that. I didn't go see it on the big screen. Again, this is the problem, and not with Wakanda being a spectacle and everything, just like Black Adam, but not being a horror fan, not giving a shit about the George Clooney, Julia Roberts movie. I literally was looking at the rest of the marquee and I'm like, not interested, not interested, not interested. And so many people are like, well, if you're spending too much money on movies, get a movie pass and it'll be cheaper. And I'm like, not enough in the theaters.
Yeah, I don't go enough to the theaters anymore.
Yeah.
And they pushed Shazam Fury of the Gods till March.
I know that. I got to be honest, Wayne. I don't know if I certainly hope it gets good reviews, and maybe we talked about it last time. I really don't like Jeff Johns' new direction for Shazam, that the Marvel powers are split among 5 people. And again, you could have made Freddie and Mary people of diversity and people of color, and I would have had no problem with it. But it's just like, I don't know these characters well enough to give a damn about them. I don't know. And again, maybe that'll happen.
See what happens, with the movie. But yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Not Shazam. God, what's his name? The comedian from darn it.
Gilbert Gottfried.
No, when they were first teasing
Patton Oswalt.
The Shazam sequel, Sinbad. Jesus, I couldn't think of Sinbad's name. Shazam. Everybody.
Wasn't it Shazam? No.
That's because everybody thinks he was in the movie Shazam. That's why.
Well, they at those DC online big spectacles, they promoted him as being Uncle Dudley, and he's nowhere in the trailers. And I wonder if that was cut, and that he's not in the movie anymore. I have no anyone on that has any notion about that. Jay Gomez says Black Adam had a 90s action flick vibe. Sure, I won't disagree with that. I said that it also represented what I didn't like about the first Wonder Woman movie, in that, all right, Act 3, hey, big CGI godlike villain again. And it's like, and again, it made sense for the story, but it bored me in the same way that it did in Wonder Woman, or even Dawn of Justice, Superman, Batman. I'm just like, all right, whatever. I just think you need to be more cleverer than that. Dowd agrees with Gomez, who says, yeah, that was the vibe he felt, which is the same vibe he got for most of Dwayne Johnson's flicks that aren't Fast and the Furious. Yeah, all right. But again, here, guys, I will give you a Dwayne Johnson film that doesn't feel like your typical action film. If you haven't already seen Snitch, which he made a few years ago, about 10 years ago or so, it has an all-star cast. He is a construction guy. He finds out his son was busted for selling bennies.
Oh, yeah, I remember
undercover.
What's that?
For the cops. He goes undercover for the cops.
Right. And John Barenthal, the Punisher, is a good guy that works for him, who's an ex-con, and he's kind of his helper in this movie. But it is I think it's a very good cop style, sort of, not procedural, but yeah, he's infiltrating the drug thing to find out what's going on. And that's where I really took notice of Dwayne Johnson as an actor and said, okay, I got respect for this guy. And I've also enjoyed his comedies as well.
When he was a Tooth Fairy. Yeah.
I liked it. And also
Be Cool. That's the movie I was trying to think of.
The sequel to
Get Shorty.
Get Shorty, yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was good and Be Cool.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as Get Shorty, though.
Dowd says he still needs to see Southland Tales. He heard it was trippy and a unique story. It is. It's an ambitious failure in my point of view. But the Rock's good in it. He's good in it. As is Sarah Michelle Gellar. So, did we talk? We talked about Doctor Who last week, didn't we, Wayne?
Yes.
Okay.
With the new Doctor. Well, when it went to
the new old Doctor. I'm excited, man.
And James Gunn, we talked about James Gunn.
Yes, we did. Absolutely.
It was a soft reboot.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm intrigued in what might happen. God, someone did a supercut of all the over the years, including classic Doctor Who, where we've had more than one Doctor together, including the new stuff and the old stuff. So you got 3 Doctors, 5 Doctors, 2 Doctors with Colin Baker and Patrick Troughton, and all the modern stuff as well. And I liked it. I like those scenes. But yeah, I'm intrigued and hope that as much of a cool big surprise with Tennant being in there for next year, I hope that there's room for Matt Smith to come back as well in some capacity.
Yeah, because they haven't done it. I think it was the 60th anniversary.
It was the 50th.
No, they did the 50th. That was Matt and
60s next year. 60s,
and that's what they're worried about is what are they going to do for the 60th? I think that's what they're going to use is the 60th as the launching board for the new Doctor.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. No, and again, I think it's smart because of the fragmented audience that didn't like the Chibnall era, and I mean, I count myself among them, having no objections to Jodie Whittaker at all, but she was underserved with shitty stories. Also, Joe Martin, who they positioned as the first Doctor. It's like, couldn't they have made her a future Doctor and everything would fit? It's like, do you have to fuck with the continuity that much?
But I believe they tried to steer the course by making her a Doctor in an alternative timeline. Like they did play with it a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Because again, I don't want her to go away. No. I like Jo Martin. I think she's a worthy Doctor. I don't know. It's gonna be. I don't think Russell Davies is that much of like in the same way that J.J. Abrams looked at Ryan or who did Last Jedi. Who directed it?
Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson. Yeah, Rian Johnson.
Ryan,
yeah. That JJ with Rise of Skywalker is like, yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, we're going over here. It's like, I mean, it really was kind of a thwack.
Hey, Johnny, did you see that animated YouTube post I sent you guys in the group? Did you watch that
today?
No, I think I sent it yesterday. I don't know if I sent it to you and Art. It was Star Wars Episode 9.
Oh no, I have not seen it. Was it good? Please tell me about it.
Yeah. The guy did an animated, kind of funny animated thing, but retelling of what the original screenplay for Episode 9 was, and it's really interesting because I had not seen that before. I'm sure we'll talk about it on if Artie watched the thing, but it's on the chat feed, and if you watch it, it goes through and who Rey was originally supposed to be and what, Luke was supposed to do and what Ben, was supposed to do, like all the characters. And I'm like, wow, this looked like a cool movie. And the Emperor wasn't in it at all. And it was really cool, I thought.
That's good to know, honestly. And I will watch it because, and like I was saying earlier, I really feel like Tales of the Jedi is redeeming a lot of what we kind of roll our eyes at with the prequels and stuff. So I'm glad to hear that. Wesley says Joe Martin would have made a much better Doctor than Jodie Whittaker, in my opinion. Again, I don't fault Jodie. But I hear what you're saying. Joe seemed to get better lines, brought a little more gravitas and confidence in the role, but also I think Jodie's character was scrambled anyway. So some of her characterization made sense where they put her in the story. I don't know. But also, Doubt says the endless child story still leaves a bittersweet taste in my mouth. This is Doctor Who. With them doing away with the limit of regenerations, I see the sense of peril not being as important as it was. Yes, but they had to figure out something, because since the revitalization that started with the Ninth Doctor, Eccleston, the show's just been killing it, and you didn't want it to just end. So, what are you going to do? So, don't worry. Are you joining us, Wayne, for Aya?
I don't have the link, so I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't know that you wanted to. You're welcome to, and I'll certainly send it to you.
I'm here.
All right, beautiful. No, we'll have you on. Why not? Franco and I'll make a command decision that Wayne's joining us on. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. You're always welcome. It's all right. Well, there you go, boyos. I think let's leave it here, because I wouldn't mind taking a bathroom break and getting ready for what we're going to do in a half hour. But
yes.
Our final comment. I see what Wesley says. Did Neil Gaiman answer the endless regenerations by making them less stable? I guess, but regardless, I thought the notion of Doctor Who regenerating, there were a couple things. First of all, in the 5 Doctors, they offer the Master the opportunity. The Barusa and the other Time Lords say, we can give you more lives. So that goes even back to the early 80s. But I also felt like that last story with Matt Smith and Trenzalore kind of also opened.
Yeah, that's the Time Lords just basically rejumped him back to a brand new set of regenerations.
So there you go.
I wish they would stop making new stuff so I could catch up on all the stuff I've missed.
I understand. Well, and it's, again, I am really interested to see what happens moving forward, because the new show is a combination of Disney and BBC.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, the Russell Davies era up till the previous season of Jodie's, and I don't know about the final season if it'll wind up there, but that's currently running on HBO Max, and I'm sure it's just a licensing deal. Classic Doctor Who is on BritBox. So is DC or is Disney just going to have the new stuff? I don't know. I really don't know.
Because it's also on Samsung. If you have a Samsung TV, you have a Doctor Who channel that basically replays all the classic Doctor Who's in 2 different chunks. So they sort of leave about after the first season of Tom Baker, and then and then Tom Baker afterwards to Sylvester McCoy. So they'll play them all in order and then repeat. So yeah, it's a constant loop.
Pluto had a channel like that as well. I don't know if they have left and now are on Samsung, but I know that Pluto was doing the same thing with Classic Doctor.
Yeah, because Mitch told me about that channel because I have a Samsung TV.
Dowd asks, wasn't David Tennant a Disney choice to make sure fans stick around before the new Doctor shows up? Maybe Dowd. Regardless, again, it's a fragmented audience. Jodie pissed off a lot of people. And they're really not Jodie. Chibnall pissed off a lot of people. So maybe it was Disney that said it. I hope that they were smart enough at the BBC to see we lost half of our audience. Maybe we're doing something wrong. Because truly, I appreciate, and I'm saying this with a little contempt in my voice, and I don't mean for it to be, I get and understand and welcome more diversity and more representation on all these shows. But when you put your politics ahead of your story, you're fucking up. And that's sadly what happened with Doctor Who. And I think that's happened a bit with New Trek here and there. And I don't want it to go away, everybody, but I do think that there's room to still tell good stories and make sure everybody's represented, and not just, let's elevate everybody, but the people that have been the focus for the last 100 years in storytelling. I think there's room for everybody. But what do I know? The fuck do I know? Anyway.
Angry Johnny tonight.
The fuck do I know? It's the truth, man. Oh, you get tired of this shit sometimes. I'm sorry. Well, it does. It's like, it's like, all right, whatever. That's great. But again, we'll see. We'll see. Enough good examples. I would say, obviously, Tales of the Jedi, classic example of that. So, yes, everyone live long and prosper. We'll talk next week. We'll talk about this week's Prodigy. We'll hopefully catch up on Quantum Leap and Andor and the like. So until then, bye-bye, everybody.